College Sports Now live from Indianapolis continues, presented by Varsity Network. Pleased to be joined by the voice of the Fighting Illini, Brian Barnhart. Brian, first Final Four since 2005, okay? Yep. Champaign is, what, 2 hours from Indianapolis? A lot of orange walking around on the streets. Good time to be an Illinois fan.
You noticed that, did you? Yeah, there was several, I don't know how many thousands were over at the Lucas Oil Stadium this morning for that. And, yeah, it is a 2-hour shot. It's a straight shot down I-74. And it's a straight road. So there's no, it's flat land for the most part. You get into Indiana a little bit, but it's a very easy drive. And Illini fans, when we heard the Final Four was in Indianapolis, the goal was to get there because we knew that this would happen, what's going on down in the streets.
It's been a relatively, and maybe not from your seat, but as a fan, maybe the neutrals out there, it's been a relatively stress-free road to Indy. I know the Houston pod or the Houston Regional, you had to play the Cougs on their home floor, so to speak. It was in their backyard, but that was an impressive performance against Houston. It's had to feel like things have come relatively easy for Illinois in the tournament so far.
In the tournament, yeah, defensively they've been lights out. And the game that impressed me the most was the Houston win in Houston. Kelvin Sampson's teams have ground people up over the years. And Illinois kind of out-Houstoned Houston, basically. They were physical, they were tough. So that was an important game. And then the emotional for fans, I don't know about the players, but they didn't want to leave it on the table against Iowa. Of all people, Iowa is there in the Elite Eight. So, yeah, it wasn't without its stressful moments, but you're right. They did win all the games by double digits. I would say the season, you're talking about 05, the season there, we were #1 all year. And that was kind of a march to St. Louis the whole year. This year was a little uncertainty because you had a really good roster, you thought. Then they struggled a bit, lost to UConn early in the season around Thanksgiving. And then they went on a 12-game winning streak, and then they finished 4-5. And so for Illini fans, it was a little bit of a roller coaster emotionally because you thought, okay, we could be. I don't know if we are. Yeah, I think we definitely are. And then you get down in late February, it's like, I don't know if we can or not. So to do what they've done here the last couple of weeks is pretty impressive, and that's why everybody's excited about that.
You mentioned the regular season meeting with UConn. I know it feels like forever ago, right? It was back in November in New York City. What do you remember about that game, especially as we get ready for a rematch on Saturday night?
Well, I remember they were doing the NBA Cup, and so the floor was like this very blue floor. That was the one thing that jumped out. We were up there pretty high at Madison Square Garden. But the game itself, when you look at the box score from back then to now, Jake Davis is a starter, has been for a month or so. And he played like 8 minutes, took one shot. Keaton Wagner got in foul trouble in that game, and he wasn't the Keaton Wagner we all know now as the freshman of the year in the Big Ten. He scored 3 points. Stojakovic was late getting started on the year, and he really hadn't started to do much, and he had like 3 points. And so when you look at that, the way the rotation was, another example is Mihajlo Petrovic, who was brought in as a guard from Serbia, played 18 minutes. I don't know if he's played 18 minutes total since that game. He's been in and out in mop-up duty. So the whole roster has basically changed, not so much the names, but who's playing when and where. And so I don't know how much you can take from that game in the sense that Illinois is a lot different. Now, Reed had just come back from an injury for UConn, and, of course, he's been a monster in the postseason for UConn. So from that game, I don't know how much you can take.
You mentioned Keaton Wagner. Like, this guy, as far as high school recruiting goes, came out of nowhere, right? He was a 4-star, but he was ranked like 150th coming out of high school. Now he's a projected lottery pick. What has changed since he arrived in Champaign?
Well, I think he's the same young man. It's just the expectations because in a lot of the summer leagues and a lot of the recruiting gurus that are out there are all focused on the court where all the 4 and 5 stars are. And he was kind of this other kid that was on the back lot, basically. And one of his coaches during the summertime was a guy that knew Brad Underwood. And Tyler Underwood, he kept saying, you guys need to check this kid out. He's really good. And so Tyler went out there, and he was impressed with his ability to pass. He was impressed with his unselfishness, his even-keelness, all those things you see now, he saw. And he recommended to Coach Underwood, you've got to look at this guy. And so really Tyler gets a lot of credit for, doing the initial dig because everybody was looking over here, and then Illinois saw this kid here. And he had a few offers from the Missouri Valley and some other lower conferences as far as level. But Minnesota was the only other power conference team that and they got in late, and it was just all a matter of timing, really.
I'm always curious to talk to the play-by-play voices, and we're talking with Brian Barnhart, Fighting Illini Sports Network. You can hear Brian's broadcast on Saturday on the Varsity Network app, 6:09 tip. What are you guys going on, around 5:30 or so, give or take?
Let's see, 5:09, it'd be 4 o'clock.
Okay, 4 o'clock Central Time.
Central Time.
Okay,
yeah,
5 o'clock in the East.
Eastern.
For those of you that are going to be listening for free on the Varsity Network app, you can get Brian's hometown call of Illinois and UConn. I'm always fascinated to talk to the play-by-play voices when they start breaking down their teams, because you've been embedded with this team for months now, right? This is the United Nations of college basketball. I mean, what is it like when you're interacting with all these kids? You got Croatia, Montenegro, Serbia. Like, what has that been like for you the last couple of months?
Well, it's been a really fun group. Mirkovic is kind of like a puppy. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's a load inside. He plays like, a man inside, but he's basically, when you watched him come on the court today for the open practice, he was just grinning ear to ear and looking up like, oh my goodness, like in one childlike wonderment.
Yeah.
So he's that way, very funny individual. The Ivasic twins play off each other a lot. They're different, even though they're identical. They're a lot different on the court and off the court in some ways. And then, of course, you've got Petrovic, who came in from Serbia, and he's quieter. But that group as a whole, and you talk about like Jake Davis and Tomislav Ivasic and the other guys became close, and Boswell, was coming in from Arizona the year before. They all just really understood their roles. They have fun with each other. They know how to be serious on the scouting reports. They haven't really, Brad doesn't have to get after him much in practice. I mean, he does on occasion, like any coach does. But as far as shoot-arounds and prep, it kind of runs like clockwork. And we had a game at Nebraska where we won in Lincoln after they had defeated us in December. And before the game, and I was wondering, I wonder how we're going to, are we tense? Are we nervous? And right near the end of the shoot-around, I think it was Tommy or one of the guys from Croatian got on the mic and said something in whatever language, Serbian or Croatian, and everybody that understood it just doubled over laughing. And I said, I think we're okay. I think we're going to win this game, because I just had that sense. So the interlocking of those kids from Montenegro and Croatia, and they're all on great terms. And then Boswell understands his role. Wagler is so low-key but dangerous on the court, and it works. And I was saying all along this year, there are some years where teams, kind of tolerate each other. Like, okay, I get along. I have to get along. This team gets along so well, and I thought, man, if it ends before the Final Four, that's going to be really sad, because this is a really fun group to be around.
Yeah, it's a really cool story. I got to ask you about Coach Underwood. The story, the trajectory from where he started, Dodge City Community College, to where he is now, his first Final Four in his 60s. I know it hasn't been easy. I mean, he's been at Illinois for 9 years, right? Mm-hmm. When you talk about all the stories, all the narratives around the Final Four, you could make the argument that the Brad Underwood story might be the best as far as the coaches go. What's it like getting to interact with him day in, day out?
Well, he's a pro, for one thing, and he's great. He and his family, Susan, and just the entire family. Tyler, of course, getting to know him as a player and now a coach. But he's a hardworking Midwesterner, McPherson, Kansas. Actually graduated from K-State with a degree in radio and TV. And he has told me he went up to, he graduated and he was going to take a job as a general manager at a little tiny radio station in Nebraska. Went up there, found out how much money it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
Yeah.
And he said, I think I'll go do something else.
Yeah,
and
that
so
tracks. Yes.
So he got into coaching. I think we've all in radio been there. And so then he just worked his way up, junior college. He was, and this is not a knock on McComb, but to be 10 years at Western Illinois as an assistant. I mean, most assistants don't stay that long. Coaches don't stay that long. So that tells you his perseverance. And then getting the head job eventually, junior college, then the Stephen F. Austin job, and then Oklahoma State, and now Illinois. And those first 2 years were tough. Second year, we won 12 games. And he had to retool everything and then has adapted so well. And I think I'm glad the national media now is finding out how good a coach he is, because we all know how good he is, especially in Champaign, but in the Big Ten. But now nationally, people are starting to figure out, hey, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's just interesting when you juxtapose it against, Dusty May, second year at Michigan. We're in the Final Four. He's already done it at FAU. We know about Dan Hurley's success at UConn. Tommy Lloyd's in his 5th year, and he's got Arizona to the Final Four. It did not come quickly for Coach Underwood at Illinois. I'm going to let you go on this one, Brian. Broadcast nerd question here for Saturday night. Elevated court. what's that like as a broadcaster? Because that's got to be, just in terms of the depth perception, is it a 3? Is his foot on the line? Like, that's got to be tough visually where you are courtside trying to call a game when you're eye level with the floor.
It's funny because in St. Louis 21 years ago, we were in the second row behind Westwood One and the TV guys. So we were slightly elevated, so it didn't, if there was an elevated floor, I don't remember if there was or not. And I know they're doing it a little differently now since we were there last. On this location, we're actually closer to the baseline. So we're not only looking kind of long way, but we're also looking up, which will take a little bit of getting used to. Now, I know the TV guys in Minneapolis, you have the raised floor at the barn. So the TV guys that do it, they're basically experiencing what we're going to experience tomorrow night. I haven't done a lot of games that way, so it'll probably take me. I talked to Mike Crispino with UConn. I talked to a couple other guys who have done Final Fours recently, and they told me it'll take you 4 or 5 minutes to, whoa, okay, where are we? And then once you get it, it's okay. And I'm just glad I'm in the front row, and I've got a great seat. I don't care where it is, and get a chance to call it. But it will be a little different as far as that goes.
Good problem to have, though, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
If you have to deal with that, that means you're in the Final Four.
That's right.
Life is good.
No, that's right.
Brian Barnhart, voice of the Fighting Illini, Illinois, UConn, 6:09 Eastern tip. You can catch Brian's broadcast on the Varsity Network app for free. Brian, thank you for making the time for us today.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Have a great call on Saturday and hopefully on Monday as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.